Hello, everybody. Jesse Lucas here again for another episode of Conscious Body Conversations. I am here today with a dear friend of mine, Heather O'Neill, energy alignment coach and energy healer. You're going to be hearing from her in just a moment. And we were just chatting a moment before this, saying how important it is for this sense of sovereignty, for a sense of bringing our own health empowerment back into ourselves. So she's going to speak a little to that in just a second. My whole thought pulling forward into this year is that we can't ignore the wisdom of our bodies any longer. And there are so many ways to access that I hope from these conversations you're kind of starting to pick that apart for yourself. And from my background, being a yoga teacher and personal trainer and bringing that together in a work that I call Embodied Movement, I am always interested in what I call kinesthetic intelligence, kind of really tapping practically into the data stored in your body's sensations. So I can share a little bit more about that at the end. Without further ado, my dear friend Heather, this is going to be such a special conversation. We have worked so hard together over the last probably 6 months to develop this sweet relationship. So thank you for being on today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and lead us right into your topic.
Thank you, Jesse. Thanks for having me. I love you as well, and I honor all the work you do and you facilitating conversations like this because they are so important for all of us. And so I am an energy healer and an energy alignment coach. And so I really work with people on aligning the mind, body, spirit synergy, because what goes on in our mindset is what is directing our emotional body, and all of that combined is our energy body. And we don't talk a lot about energy all the time, but I will a little bit today because it's such a big part of us, because where our energy is in essence vibrating, we are all made of energy and everything is made of energy. That is what we are attracting into our experience, our relationships, our health, everything, because like attracts like. So I also work with folks who may be dealing with any kind of dis-ease, discomfort, pain, healing something outer or inner. And it's a beautiful journey that I've been on since I discovered I'm a Reiki master teacher. And it's been a beautiful journey, especially I'm also an empath. And as an empath, as you know, we tend to absorb the energies of other people quite more intensely and into our bodies. So there's all this stuff that goes on in our bodies from an energetic standpoint that we really haven't been made super aware of, probably for most of our lives. And that is such an integral part of our healing. So I'm very happy that you invited me to talk about that a little bit, because what I've kind of just been realizing, especially as a result of what's gone on this past year or last year, is that a couple of things. One, that we are maybe not on a regular basis looking at our body health from a holistic standpoint. And we've all heard the word, and maybe people aren't really clear on what it means. And unfortunately, it may sometimes bring up like a woo-woo, or, I hear the term pseudoscience being thrown around and things like that, where that's not it at all. It's about you being a whole person. And just looking outside of ourselves for something to heal us or cure us, and having that being the only factor in our healing, that's not a holistic standpoint. Because as I mentioned before, our mindset, our emotional state, our energy, all of that stuff is part of our makeup, our health, and our healing. Everything that we feel, think, experience, it all gets encoded in us biologically. We take this into our bodies. And so even if we are getting some type of treatment for something, which is, again, I'm not speaking from an either or perspective. I'm not saying, there is an efficacy in a wide variety of treatments, Western medicine, Eastern things, all of that stuff. But when we're ignoring what's going on in our minds and our hearts, and not taking a look under the hood, so to speak, we are not engaging in a huge part of our own healing. And there's so many different modalities. There's so many different ways that people can learn and engage in that kind of body wisdom. I love it, you call it body wisdom, and learning how to get our mindset in a place that will be the best for our most optimal healing, and also our energy body. Understanding that we've got energy centers. They're called chakras, right? So understanding we have energy centers that can be focused on and cleared and learned about. And even if that doesn't resonate with people, just simply the fact that we owe it to ourselves to explore other modalities of healing rather than simply going to the doctor, getting a prescription. Again, I'm not discounting anything. I have friends that have gone through incredible, medically technology procedures and things like that. And so I'm in awe of what we have done and what we've accomplished and what we've learned. But there's a whole piece that's not in the conversation of total healing all the time, and that is things like energy healing. And there's a wide variety of modes of energy healing. There's Reiki, there's healing touch, there's Seimei. There's so many different things. People are probably familiar with acupuncture that works on the meridian system. But there's so much meditation, I could talk forever on different modalities, but there's so much out there that can help us to remember that we are empowered human beings, and we came into this life with a body that was made to heal. And when we are out of homeostasis, when we're not in that place for our body to be connected to its healing ability, because we're not dealing with our mindset, our emotional state, or we're running a million miles an hour and we're just not centered at all, or taking some time to just stop and pause and ground, we're in essence doing ourselves a disservice, because thinking that, okay, if I get sick, or, if there's something wrong, somebody outside of me will save me. And that's not saying that isn't a possibility, but that's certainly not the only thing. And it's not something for me that I want to live my life depending on. I want to learn how to take care of my body, take care of my energy. I like to call it practicing good energy hygiene, especially for empaths. We need to do that for our physical health. But I just invite everybody to maybe just gently move into that mindset a little bit of realizing that they're, just kind of depending on somebody outside of myself saving me. Like, is that really serving me in the long run? And if not, what can I do to take my own power back, or to stay in my own power as a sovereign human being, and honor what I put into my body via food, and honor what I'm putting into my spirit via the people I surround myself with, and honor this vessel with enough sleep, and learning how to take care of myself, how to raise my own vibration, how to put myself in the best place for the most optimal healing, and be open to that from any avenue, but that I'm not solely dependent on something or somebody outside of myself to heal me.
Oh my goodness, you said so many good things in there. One of the things I want to call attention to that you said, I love the term energy hygiene. I've heard you say that before, and I'm glad that you brought that in, because kind of like you referred to, when we do have to rely on health support that is outside of ourselves, there are these incredibly sophisticated technologies that we can tap into. And when I was listening to you and describing all of the different kind of ways that we can access the wisdom from within, it seems to me like it's simply another technology that we have. This technology we can access on our own. And one of the main themes I'm seeing through these conversations that I'm having is ease and accessibility. That opening up this, what might have otherwise been called or formerly called alternative approaches, alternative, healing, alternative medicine, that kind of thing, that it's maybe not alternative, but just this is another technology. So I love how you kind of like had those two pillars in there in what you shared, because I do believe that non-woo people really are ready to access this, but they might not have known how to approach it. It might have seemed, a little far out there for them. But the way you just described that seems so simple, so practical, so accessible. And there's a feeling of ease to what you just shared. So thank you. And, explaining the layers of the body, including the energetic, in the work that I do, kind of flipping the mind-body approach to healing in upside down, going from body to mind. I always remind people, when I'm talking about your body, I mean your physical body, your emotional body, and your energetic body. And because we're layered beings, right? And I think we're starting to figure out as a global community, that our emotions really do play a part in our physical health, but so too does our energy. Now, I'm an empath too, as you know, and I get that energetic sensitivity. I always say, like, oh, there's been a disturbance in the force, when I feel something. But I think really any of us have access to that kind of energetic wisdom. If it doesn't come naturally, then we can use some of those tools that you just described to start kind of honing that awareness, like you would, fine tune your palate for fine wine or something like that. You could fine tune your palate to really detect this. So, thank you for sharing those pieces. Are there any of those pieces you'd like to kind of follow a little deeper, or anything else you'd like to add onto that based on what I just said?
Well, I love everything you said. And it's like you said in the beginning, it's not just, we've kind of moved into this belief that it's this only one way for us to take care of ourselves and heal and take care of our health. And there is, there's so much. And, at one time, all of that was together, there were, in tribal living, you had a healer that was part of the community. And, you had the herbalists and, there was all these other things, as obviously as we progressed as a society and learn more medical technology, we have so much more knowledge, and it's a beautiful thing. But that doesn't mean that we have to throw all of the other stuff to the wayside. So I love everything you said.
That's such an important point, that this is not either or. And I think this is the year for that. This is the year to just put everything all in one category, that it's all accessible, and not to separate it into, you're either doing it this way, quote unquote, holistically, or, whatever the other way is. So I agree. Let's kind of clear that out, that this is not either or. I want to keep this short and sweet. So can you either give us something, like, what can we take with us? What can the people watching do to, either if they do feel kind of like energetically aware, how can they, pull that in even more. Or if this is kind of a new conversation, what's a way we can start exploring, experiencing, like what's a nugget you'd like to send us home with? And then let us know where we can find you. I know you have a wealth of wisdom. I happen to have seen your beautiful new website. So let us know where we can find you.
Yeah. So I just, I recommend to everybody all the time, just trust yourself. It said all the answers that we seek lie within ourselves. And I believe that with all of my being. So when you are questioning, just take some time to just get quiet and focus on your breath. And, and I'm not even talking meditation, which I would love to talk about all the time, but I'm just saying, just get quiet and go within. And by doing that, you're just listen to your breath for a couple of minutes and ask yourself the questions, and ask that your intuition is open to the pathways that will serve your highest good. And when we set that intention, you're online one day and this article pops up that you need to read, or you come across a teacher or a healer or somebody that you need to be hearing and connecting with. That's the way it works. We need to get quiet. We need to go with the flow. We need to trust ourselves, and we need to understand that we are really empowered, beautiful, divine beings, and trust in that and honor that. So, and yeah, I would love to connect with anybody that wants any more information on it or just has questions or anything. It's a conversation I'm always happy to have. And I can be found. My website is healing.family.
Amazing. Thank you, Heather, so much. Please go check out Heather's work. Like I said, I've watched the development of this over the last year. It's something you definitely want to know more about. And Heather, I have to laugh because I know sometimes when you and I are on calls together and like light beams in on certain conversations, yes. This has not happened in any of my recordings so far. So the light is upon us yes. today, which is so awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening. And it is my desire to help move this whole conversation forward. My latest project, the Embodied Movement training course, is developed specifically for that. So people working in the healing arts, in the wellness space, in healthcare, if you are ready to bring an embodied approach, meaning tapping into that kinesthetic intelligence, learning what that is, how to actually use it from a very scientific and practical way, that's what that is about. embodiedmovementtraining.com. If that's too much to type in, just type in my name, jessielucas.com, and it'll point you right over there. I will include that link as well. And we will see you on the next episode. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.